Well, folks, we have returned. I said that we would return, right? I mean, I did say it. I mean, right?
I
So today,
guess.
so today we have a special where all three of us are here to speak on something that is really important and that's coming up in like almost a year, which is Avengers Doomsday. What are we going to be getting? What are we going to see? Who are we going to see? What's going to be the end game of it? I don't know. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about theories that we have and who's doing what's it's and who's wearing what and who was there and who's the baby mama and all this stuff and all the stuff that's going on because there's a lot going on in these clues, not trailers, clues. And I understand what he's saying when he says that. So, Java, are you ready?
Yes. I guess.
That's like the tamest yes you've ever given in your entire life, I'm sure of it. Robert, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, folks, let's go and let's have some fun. So, welcome once again, folks, to TBA News, presented on the Hungry Bleak channel. I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room.
What's up? This is your girl Jabba Chin with the straightest thumbs in Doomsday.
In
And
Latveria.
Damn it.
and I'm Robert, aka Rob the Writer.
There we go. So, folks, this is our Avengers Doomsday special. So, we have all been ever since like was it San Diego Comic Con that he did it?
Yeah.
RDJ when he came out as Doom, and we found out that we were getting him as Doom in this Doomsday movie that was going to pretty much be the culmination of a lot of things going on in the MCU's multiverse. So we are going to be speaking about some of that going on. But before we start speaking about it, let's show some of the people that we've seen so far in our MCU stuff. Now, there's been a huge roster of characters, obviously, where we have our the MCU that we've known, but then we've started having this barrier-breaking events, and we've seen the X-Men, which is
Mhm.
crazy.
Can
We've
we say it like
seen
OG X-Men?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, like we've seen mutants,
OG.
we've seen everything. So where do we even begin, Jabba? Where?
I mean, I feel like at this point, we might just get rickrolled. I feel like all these trailers are gonna lead to a rickroll.
I'm sorry, I heard the song. I'm sorry. sorry. Sorry.
But no, in all seriousness, this like as a person that loves Marvel but does not read the comics, I know, sue me, whatever. I don't know where this will lead. I don't know what it'll be because obviously, like we already know from San Diego Comic Con, where like RDJ came in, and he's like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm not dead. Like I'm here," and it's like, okay. And I mean, it's not uncommon that we've had actors play two different characters in the same universe. And like, look at Chris Hemsworth. I mean, not Chris Hemsworth. Chris Evans. He played Captain America, and he played Human Torch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not common. Same thing with even though we won't talk about the other Fantastic Four, where we had Michael B. Jordan. He played Killmonger and also Human Torch. So it's like it's not uncommon, but it's like, what are we doing? Like, where is this story going to? Because clearly, when we had Infinity War, we had Thanos. Like he was like in like the early stages of a lot of like the Marvel movies, so we kind of like knew where he came from. Doom, we knew from like Fantastic Four, like even from like the original ones, we knew him as like the villain, but we don't know what he's doing right now.
Very true. Robert, what do you think?
Um, I think that this is supposed to be like the culmination of what they call the multiverse saga. So the creation of these different universe parallel worlds and all the stories that they've told on these different worlds, like we've seen in Loki, we've seen in the What If series. It was even mentioned, I think, in the latest Brave New World, Captain America, Brave New World with the Thinker, talking about it. So it's so I think that it's building up to the end game. We referenced that before, the end game of the multiverse. So there some of the books that they're supposedly kind of pulling from are named like Secret Wars, which is going to be the sequel to this, and a couple of other big Hickman Avengers runs, which focus a lot on this idea of these parallel worlds. I think even like Battle World, was that big event that Marvel did where you had all of these. It was like pretty much a war, battling for one world to become dominant, or the only world. So I think at the end of this, I don't know how we're going to get to this, but I think by the end of this, we will at least have the focus, at least for the next, maybe let's say 10 years, be on just one universe. And we are not going to have, we're not going to have a lot of parallel world storytellings. And I think that between this and Secret Wars, it's just going to be battle. And actually, I just forgot about this. The last Doctor Strange movie, where at the post credit scene where Charlize Theron's character showed up and was talking about like parallel worlds which were collapsing. So at the end of this, all those other worlds are going to collapse and be destroyed, and we will have just one world, which will introduce the Fantastic Four in some way. And I think the biggest thing that's going to be introduced is the members of Xavier's University, X-Men. So it's just a reboot. It's a relaunch. I don't want to say reboot, but it's a relaunch of the MCU for a variety of reasons. I think a fresh start is what's going to be needed at this point. And that's at least the vibe that I'm getting, from the scant information that's been put out there. So.
Yeah, this is it. It's definitely needed, because there have been, unfortunately, more misses than hits, in the later phases of the MCU. How they would have, like, phase 1, phase 2, what have you. I think that's what's going to happen here is we're going to be getting all of these characters together for a big battle, and what's going to happen is they're all going to become part of one universe. I think that it's going to be very, no pun intended, but earth-shattering when this happens for all the characters and who's going to make it, who isn't going to make it, who's going to live, who's not going to live. I think that with Robert said the man's name, and he is that dude for me. It is Hickman. This is Hickman. If you've ever read Hickman's New-Avengers, where he had his Illuminati-esque team. Yeah. It's one of my favorite comics. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, I want to go back and reread it. But it was awesome. And they talked a lot. There was a word that they used that they've been using in the MCU recently, and I've loved it. Incursion. Incursion is a very important word in the MCU. And in the Marvel comics, it's a very important word. It's when two planets literally collide. Two Earths collide because they can't occupy the same space, and that's what starts to happen. And I think that's what's going to start happening here, and it's going to be something that they all have to kind of fight to try to stop, and somehow, possibly even getting in that that council. Maybe because there are going to be other versions of that council, possibly in other dimensions. I'm very excited to see this. I think this all starts because of what happened in the movie that everyone says that they don't like, but I secretly think that they do like it because it is a good movie, is the second Avengers movie. I want to wrap the world in armor to protect it.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't believe it. Mac in the chat even had something to say. He said, No. He actually made a post about it on Facebook. I was like, it shows how petty Stark is, how much of an ass he is. Stark can be an ass, yeah, but he wasn't wrong.
Right.
He was completely right to be mad at all of them. You weren't there. Where were you? Where were you when we were getting our asses handed to us? And he rips off the thing and he goes to hell and he goes to give it to Steve, the housing for the nanites. So I think this is Stark saying, I have to do this to protect. Because maybe Stark had the time stone and he saw all the other events that happened when Thanos came and tore the world up. And he realized, I have to protect the world, even if it means I'm going against my fellow Avengers.
So you think that's like this version of Doom's motivation?
Yes, is to protect the world. Because look at Doom himself. Doom is a ruler of Latveria. He's found a beautiful meld between science and magic. Yeah. And yes, you can say he is a villain, he's this, that, what have you, but he is down for his people. If you come to Latveria, you better come with your head in your hand and humble.
Yeah.
Because he does not play. And I like that about Doom in a way. I also like the fact that he's constantly hitting on Sue just because it irks the hell out of Reed. I don't know why, but it's funny to me. But I think that's where it comes from. I think it comes from Stark saying, in general, him saying we have to protect the world, to put the world in a suit of armor, or what have you. So let's talk about the clues. The everyone's been calling them trailers, but Feige, it was Feige, I want to say, that said, no, they're not trailers, they're clues to what's happening. So we've got, so who has?
I think the first one was like what, Steve Rogers, right?
Yes,
that was the first one that dropped.
Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah.
Damn near spit out my yak, man. You know how much that cost?
Okay, so if I remember, like, because I've seen it a few times, because like it was like like during like Christmas Day or something like that when it dropped, because like it was like very like recent. It was like right before the new year. Obviously he's young compared to the last time when we saw him. Like, you know, he was an old man and he was old decrepit, but he's young in this one. So I'm thinking it has to be some type of flashback. Maybe. I'm gonna throw it in as a flashback, because like we know with trailers that they don't keep all the stuff in, they put it into the movie, because a lot of things change. Like they put some stuff in there just like for, like, you know, the show, like, you know, be like, oh, come see this, but then they don't play it in the movie. So I'm going for, this is a flashback of what, I don't know. And then, like, because you figure, if you remember from I think it was from Endgame, when Rogers went back in time, he did talk to Stark, like, you know, like the father. So I'm like, this is about the same time, so we don't know exactly where we're at. And who knows, maybe Rogers could have effed up with Stark and pissed him off to cause all this. Just saying.
Yeah. I think that it's my hope that that's his kid, you know, and because it would show that he and Peggy got a chance to kind of live the life that they had spoken about. I know that there's that part where I think he sees the uniform. Is it the Nomad uniform, or it's like something? I thought it was like maybe a different uniform than what he normally has, or maybe it was the same from one of the other movies. But it's the vibe that I get from that first trailer, is even when making a joke about the babysitting, is that it's like he's coming out of retirement, right? You know, like you said, like he's well, I got to get back in the game, you know, that type of thing. And I do appreciate that this is a big enough event that he is willing to kind of put his, not even his peace, you know, his peaceful, his time of rest, you know, away from everything, and come back to it. I think that we've talked about this. This is definitely a little bit of the casting, at least for the people who have previously been in this movie, is kind of like Marvel being, kind of playing it safe, I feel. And I think Chris Evans as Cap is one of those, in addition to Robert, as RDJ.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to sit here and say, like, when I see watching in theaters, I'm not going to be hyped to see Chris Evans come back. But it is one of those casting choices that I'm like, I think they want people to remember how they felt, when they saw those last two Avengers movies and are hyped, But I do think that, as far as clues wise, I don't know how much I got from it as far as story. But I know that I'm just glad to see him and Peggy living their best life,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there's one thing that's very important. At the end of each of these clues, we get, so and so will return in Avengers Doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
Says Steve Rogers, not Cap.
Not Cap. Okay.
Says Steve Rogers, not Cap. I think that's great because they're recognizing Sam as Cap now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sam is your Captain America. No matter
Yeah.
what y'all mad about, y'all can have your tiki torches and all that mess. I ain't seen y'all in a while though. Where y'all at? But y'all ain't so proud no more. So
Can't.
where?
Can't.
Yeah, I don't care. Y'all know I definitely don't care. But yeah, we're seeing that that nomad kind of suit, but it's cleaned up.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's closer to what it was in Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It's like clean and pristine, and we see him with the child. The thing that I was looking at when I saw him as young, I didn't even think about the old Steve. I was just focused on the young Steve. But the fact that flashback is actually a nice touch and a nice idea. I was also thinking, well, what year is it that we're seeing him in? And is he snatched through time somehow for this? I don't know. I normally don't think about these things. I normally let the storytellers tell me a story. That's what they're doing. That's what they're being paid for. That's what they love to do. That's what they trained and did all these years of schooling and work for to do this. So I usually just sit there and let them tell me the story. But I do like to think about things like that because I saw him. I was like, what year is it? And the house, is that the house that he and Peggy had? Because that's a long driveway. Or is that the house that was Clint Barton's? Because that long stretch of road looked familiar. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. For some reason, I'm thinking that their house was like a street, but again, it could have been anything. Like, I can't remember everything about Endgame because that was a few years ago, and there's a lot there to take in, and big scenes happen, and little things might be kicked out of your brain. But again, I'm interested to go. This will also be a vehicle for them to say, hey, do you notice this, and this? Go back and watch the movies. Check it out. See if that's this and this and that, because they will tie those things in, obviously.
Yeah.
This will be not just a culmination or a way to rebrand everything and to bring it into it will also be a way for them to do a little bit of fan service. I don't care what you are, folks. If you're mad about fan service, go sit outside. I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know what that meant. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know what that meant. But you're going to get some fan service. But some of the fan service will make sense because they will tie it into something that happened before. People said that Steve picking up Mjolnir was fan service. Yeah, it was, but it had also been teased.
Yeah.
In Avengers, I can't remember the name of the second movie for some reason. Avengers.
Wasn't it Civil War?
No, it was before Civil War. It was the second one because we get to see Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
I thought that was Civil War.
No. No. This is when we first meet them. In Civil War, we only got Scarlet Witch because Quicksilver was dead already.
Age of Ultron?
Yes, thank you. Yes,
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's so many Marvel movies, I can't keep up.
But that's what they're banking on too for you to go back and see it. All right, so the next clue that we got is Thor, correct?
Yeah. Second one was Thor.
Yeah, we see Thor praying in a beautiful forest, by the way. Oh my God, the scenery is lovely. The lighting, immaculate. Great. And we see him praying. I want to say that he was praying into Stormbreaker, just like how I think a couple times he actually prayed into Mjolnir, and him
Mm.
wanting to become the word that he was, but to be able to return as a father and to show his daughter his adopted daughter a different way
Yeah.
to be. Robert, what'd you think about this one?
So before the last two trailers, this is my favorite one. I think it it did something that I think it set a mood, like a very somber mood. I think the other thing is visually, it just worked. You know,
Mhm.
and the last time that we saw Thor, you know, he had his kid. I can't remember the little girl's name, but it seemed like he was kind of like in a better spot. He was like, "Yo, we're about to fight aliens," you know, and all this stuff. You know, we're traveling the universe, and here it's just like he's praying to his dad. He's like, Lord, you know, that type of thing, and you know, help me out with what's coming. So I think this had like a little narrative to it, and it also highlighted that there was some ish that had happened in between the last time and you know this moment that we have with him in the forest or in the woods. I question that I had is like, where's his daughter? Where are we at? Are we back on Earth? Are we on another alien planet or another multiversal world? I think he does have. Is it Stormbreaker or the M word, Mjolnir or whatever? I can't remember what he
I
has.
didn't know where you were going with that at first. I was like,
yeah, does he have
that's
the?
your man. I was like, yo, Robert, you got calm down.
No, he like
Um,
they ain't trying to get us cut off. But
Sure.
I did kind of I had more questions with this one than I had with Steve Rogers, which had me hyped. You know, I was excited. So yeah, I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this one a lot.
Joppa?
My turn. I'm kind of with Robert on this one. This one definitely changed the mood because, like, I think from the first one having like Captain America, well, Steve Rogers, sorry, coming back, it's just to like draw people in.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay, Steve Rogers coming back. I gotta see what's up. And then now throwing it back to Thor, where, like Robert said, like from like the past couple movies, like he's been through some stuff. Like it's been rough for the boy. Yeah. So like he needs like his little piece. So since there's really like nothing going forward, and like you said, like we ended off and what's the movie Love and Thunder?
Yeah,
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder was the last one.
Yeah, like so, like he loses his his love, and then he gets a new love, which is the name of the child. But he's like, I don't know how to be a daddy. He's like, I just use smash things and drink and show off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe at this point he might be going through like a little bit of a midlife crisis where he's like, I'm by myself.
Yeah.
And have to raise this human. And I don't know how. And if we're gonna go for location, maybe they might be on the new Asgard.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there is that. So I don't know. We have to see.
Yeah, this one had the most to me. It had the most to well, it did at the time. Then I had other questions about the next one, but this one had a lot for me too. Yeah, because it was almost again another course correction. Because no offense to Taika, but he made Thor more of a comedic character.
Mm-hmm.
Endgame kind of brought that back where when he arrived in Wakanda. And he was the first thing you see was Stormbreaker just going around taking everybody out. And the theater I was in was like, oh, it's done. It's about to go down. It's over. When he yells out, "Bring me Thanos," and you see the rally cry of everyone, and they like it brings energy to someone. I want that Thor back.
Yeah.
Now, Chris Hemsworth did a phenomenal job with that comedic tones. He did a phenomenal job with it. He did, but I want that Thor back. I want the Thor that is going to run in there and who's needs it, because like you will say, he might have been, out of all the Avengers, he may have been through the most as an Avenger.
Yeah.
With everything he's lost, his father, also his mother, his brother, what, 2-3 times?
Yeah.
Loki.
Yeah.
Having to watch that play. Jesus. I mean, he's been through a lot.
And then also don't forget having a friend from work.
Yes. Exactly.
He's a friend from work.
Loki was shook. Loki was like, "Oh God, no, gotta get the hell out of here." He was done. But he's been through the most, I think, as an Avenger. So to see him want to get back to that, because there's a reason for that. I love the fact that you said this could be New Asgard. For some reason, when I saw that woods, it reminded me of Endgame when everyone was dying, but it also reminded me of of the Canadian woods in X-Men Last Stand, when we finally saw Wolverine really let go. It kind of reminded me of that too, because we hadn't seen him there. So yes, Thor, Thor Odin's son will return in Avengers Doomsday. But the next trailer that we got was for the X-Men. Yes. We see a dilapidated X mansion, as it usually is, because they have to rebuild quite often.
Like
contractors are happy. Contractors be like, "Oh, blew up again."
Insurance is high as hell.
It's one of the most beautiful yet cursed buildings I've ever seen in my life. It is ridiculous. And we hear Charles Xavier, Patrick Stewart, again, Sir Patrick. Oh my God, so wonderful to see him back with Sir Ian McKellen Magneto. The two of these men, I love seeing them together. There's such an energy, a chemistry, a level is raised when they're in the room. You got to step up your game, I feel, and it's beautiful to see. And we see them speaking, and we get the coolest nod to X-Men, the animated series. Look, Charles Xavier's rocking the jacket, the X symbol on it. He got it from Rogue's room because she ain't there no more. I don't know what happened. Rocking it, and we see him and Magneto embracing and smiling and talking. And then we see a moment that when you see something like this, you know something bad happened. We see James Marsden as Cyclops. Redemption is here for him. Please. Rips off the visor and lets loose all of the optic blast. Now, if you know, when Scott does this, something bad has happened.
Yeah.
He's also in his OG.
Yes.
Outfit.
Yes. So
the classic outfit.
I'm thinking that's why Magneto has longer hair too, because this is more of a nod to the X-Men animated series. Because look at the locks are long. I mean, he's a little older. He's been through some stuff, but the locks are flowing. He's got the Prel. I don't know what's going on. He got the hot oil treatment. I don't know what's going on. Jabba. What? Tell me. Girl, you know what it is. Speak on it.
Well, let me tell you. I mean, as an X-Men fan, we already know that shit hit the fan. I'm pretty sure, okay, this is just because of all the other things that I've seen with X-Men, especially with Scott. Something happened to Jean Grey. I think Homegirl died for like the 50th time or whatever, and he just lost his ever-loving mind. I'm just saying, it's true. This man, okay, if it's not Jean, it would be his brother.
Which one?
Both of them. Let's throw both of them in there.
If you know, you know. If you don't know, it's cool. Don't worry about it. It's not a big thing.
But my thing is though, if we know the main one, I'm gonna give it to Jean Grey. Like, she died for like the 60th time. She ain't coming back as Phoenix. Homegirl, she gone. Okay, and he's losing it.
Yeah.
I mean, what else are you gonna cry about? I mean, he might get upset if like the professor goes, maybe, but you never seen that much emotion. Unless it was for Jean. Or maybe his child. Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
And then also, can we give good credit where it's like we didn't have to throw in Wolverine?
Thank God.
No offense to Hugh
I
Jackman,
mean,
dig you, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, as much as like not even like just for like Hugh Jackman, just as much like how Wolverine's like a big popular character,
Mhm.
the fact that Scott is getting so much love, which I appreciate. Now, if you throw in Storm, oh, all hell break loose. Everybody named Mom be losing their mind. I was like, oh, she here? Okay, I'm ready to go. I don't even know what the rest of the story is about. I just want to watch her.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Robert, I don't know what else to say after that. I honestly don't. I can't.
I think out of anything to come out of this movie or the next two movies, this is what I'm most excited about. There have been all these rumors going around, directors hired, writers hired for the big X-Men push, which will come after. So the fact that they're kind of starting off with looking back, with what's come before, with I think it's like Magneto, Professor X. I'm just looking at the picture. Kurt Wagner, Mystique, Cyclops, Gambit. That's I can't do an accent, but I love the fact that they are and then Beast and Beast. I'm hyped, and so when we got this trailer, it's X-Men 97, it's 90s X-Men, it's Chris Claremont, Jim Lee X-Men, it's what am I thinking? I'm thinking about Krakoa era X-Men. Seeing the Sentinel legs in the background was insane. In that trailer, you just see legs, and for me, I'm like the fact that they're building them that big. We got that in X-Men. What was it? X-Men 3 in the trilogy. And we had like the danger room scene where they had and it wasn't like the full on, Sentinel. So we, as comic book fans, fans of the animated series, we were like, okay, we know what they're doing. But when I saw him fall down on his knees and just shoot his eye beams up, and I saw the legs in the back, I got very excited because it seems like they are giving us fans what we've wanted from the comic book series, from the animated series, rather than I appreciate those movies for what they are, but like the black leather, those days where they were looking, and then the outfits. So that they're doing this for people who love that property, whether it be from the comic books, the animated series, or the live action movies. So I am beyond hyped for this. I think that this scene is possibly just going to be the X-Men got their butts handed to them, like in a very hurt, very vicious, destructible, horrible way. And, this might be an incursion, right? I thank you. Thanks for reminding me about the word because that's what I was trying to remember from Doctor Strange. Maybe this is an incursion level event. Maybe Downey's Doom, Double D, is shown up and just I'm sorry just
Shows off the rails, man. Robert's off the rails.
I can go off the rails even
Yeah.
further, but I think that from after the Thor one, my hype for these kind of Clue trailers got higher and higher because I think they were more and it was a good build, and this one was like, wow, this is great. So I am so glad that they brought Marsden back. Like, I think James Marsden got done dirty in the third movie, and he always got kind of the short end of the stick, I feel, when it came to Cyclops, because we love Hugh Jackman, but Cyclops was kind of pushed to the side in this like three-way love triangle, and he was seen as being the Boy Scout who will never get the girl, right? And we know Scott ain't that dude. Scott is amazing, from the comic book. So I hope that Marsden gets kind of a redemption. I mean, maybe it shouldn't be titled as that, but I love the fact that they brought him back, even if I think it's like a parallel universe, multiverse. And I wonder if this is the same world that Monica Rambeau found herself on at the end of the Marvels. I think that this is that world, and we might get a secret cameo from her, either in this or in Secret Wars. So, because I don't know if they would double up with more than other kind of mutant focused worlds. I think this might be that world where we saw Beast and Binary. So we might get Binary in there too. But yeah, I was so happy to see Cyclops, and especially coming off of X-Men 97. Like
Mhm.
he showed out in that show. So we'll see. But yeah, I really enjoyed the trailer.
Yeah, I'll say the word. I said it in the beginning. This is Cyclops' redemption.
Yeah.
Um, they pushed the Logan um agenda
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
way too hard. They did. It's funny that you say that. They made him the guy who won't get the girl, and that's his girlfriend. That's
You're right,
wild.
right.
That's
It's like,
wild.
Mhm.
and
That is wild.
if he walked up in there with Emma Frost, and everybody be upset. Like,
Oh, like
just don't. Exactly. Like, come on,
I'd have
put
been
some
like, oh
respect on
my.
that man's name.
I would have
Like,
went to the jewelry store around the corner from the movies, bought a pearl necklace, went in there and went,
just pull the clutch the pearls,
This
right?
way.
and then went back and returned it because I'm not paying for all that. Yeah, this is amazing to me. I love seeing the Jim Lee, Chris Claremont. What was it?
Yeah.
New Genesis
New Genesis, yeah.
when
Yep.
they all started when they had that wraparound cover. I
Yes.
loved when they all wore that same costume. I
Man.
loved it. I loved it. I
Blue
absolutely thought it
team,
was
gold
crazy.
team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love seeing this. I love them going with the 97. I was
Mhm.
thinking if this was the same world as the other X-Men. Like it went from this kind of really bright and colorful, almost cartoonish looking
Mhm.
Mhm.
world to being this dark dystopian. Everything's about to end. Scott Summers, when he, like I said, when he takes off the visor, it's
Yeah.
done. Something has happened. Like you said, either Jean has died, someone has died, but I think with Scott seeing everyone die around him and he was not able to be the leader that he needed to be at that
Mhm.
time would make him lose it.
Mhm.
So I think yeah, we're going to see something definitely happen, and I would love. And James Marsden did such a great job, and he all three movies he really did get shafted.
Mhm.
Him and his Cyclops but then when you see Cyclops for who he is,
Yeah.
Cyclops was right. Cyclops and Magneto are right.
Mhm.
They are.
Mhm.
We're seeing it every day now, with our friends of humanity out here on the street. I hope you don't
Mhm.
step on any ice.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was an Easter egg, folks, but it wasn't so subtle. Um, I think this is one that hit me so hard. And like Robert said, as we get each one, they do hit you more. The last one that we got, well, the most recent, I should say, the most recent one that we got is we are seeing a desert and we see a figure walking across there and we hear drums that are all too familiar to us. And that at a certain point will make your heart beat a little extra, but might also bring a tear to your eye. And I totally understand why it would. We see our Black Panther. We see Letitia Wright,
Mhm.
her garb, knitting. We see Shuri of Wakanda walking through, and then you see a king. Now, I'm not gonna be mad at you if you forgot that M'Baku was king because there's a lot going on, and that movie is very, very heavy on emotion.
That's
And it's been a
emotional
while.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have forgotten about that, because yeah, he is the king of Wakanda. He is not the Black Panther. They're two separate positions.
Mhm.
You can be both, but because he is not, because he is of the Jabati tribe,
Mhm.
he is not of Bast. So he is the king, but he is not the Black Panther. Because so his powers will not be stripped away. And I'm sorry, Forrest. I am
You
so sorry.
bullheaded
You are a
demon.
phenomenal actor, but I'm sorry. You just dirty on that one, bro. And we see them walking across, and they announce who they are. And then we see another familiar character who is new to the MCU. I'm Ben Grimm of Yancey Street, and he gives like a cross street or something like that, which is only what Ben Grimm do. And we see them coming out. We also see Namor and the
Mhm.
Atlanteans. Now, some people were mad because we didn't get separate trailers for them. If you're a comic book fan, you know. If you're not a comic book fan, that's cool. And if you don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
Black Panther's first appearance was in Fantastic Four
Yep.
comic. Fantastic Four and Namor have a very contentious history. That's another one that went flirts with Sue. I've always liked Namor and Namor. I've always liked him because of his arrogance, because he's regal. His presence is there. He is Imperius Rex. I've always enjoyed that. But they also have a very close relationship. And we all know the relationship between Wakanda and Atlantis is always
Mhm.
very bloody, unfortunately, and has cost the lives of thousands, if not millions, of both inhabitants. So for them to
Right.
all get a trailer together, I think was very apropos and
Yeah.
makes you think. Robert, what do you think about this very oil and water, but very, very tension filled kind of trailer?
So I'll start with that.
Thank you.
Rest in peace, Mr. Bozeman. Every point that you hit, as far as like from the comic book side of things, it was like they were showing respect to what had come before, as far as for like the connecting threads of these three different titles. So the Fantastic Four, Black Panther, and Wakanda at large, and having a brain, and then Namor, Namor. So that was excellent. But I think seeing M'Baku say, he's the head of Wakanda, which
Mhm.
was great, but that the comments that I kept seeing is that I did not know how much I needed a Ben Grimm M'Baku team up,
Bruh.
especially like when Ben. I don't know if I'm one of the few that really enjoyed the latest Fantastic Four movie, but I don't know the actor's name. But the guy who played Ben just sound like he's from New York. Like he embodies, so like just that brief line, him kind of saying from Yancey Street. Like I enjoyed that. The clues that I guess I saw or looked at, or questions that brought questions, was they seem to be meeting in this desolate wasteland, right? It looked like a desert. So I was wondering, like, are we somewhere on a battle world? Are we somewhere on another planet? Are we on a, like the area between? Because you know what, I started thinking about that world in Deadpool, where all of the rejects were going. You
Mm.
know,
Fox.
yeah,
Fox. Yeah,
yes,
Fox.
that's what I was wondering. So like I love that setting. I and the idea of bringing in these separate entities, or these Wakandans, and Shuri, Black Panther, the Black Panther, and M'Baku, and the Wakandans, in addition to Ben in the Fantastic Four from their universe. So I was really hyped that I think this is the one that showed like the versalness more
Mhm.
so than any of the other trailers or the other teasers. And I love I whatever I this might be another thing where I'm in the minority. I love that Shuri is still the Black Panther, right?
Mhm.
I love that. I know that caused controversy for some folks or whatever, but is what it is. But I love that she still is holding on to this title. And then anytime you get to see Namor and his folks is amazing. And I think their stuff looked more. Was it Aztec? I can't. I'm trying to remember the structures that they were at. It had like an Aztec type of vibe, or look to it. But yeah, I like I said, I think the teaser trailers crescendoed with this one. Within, it was a good one.
Yeah. Jabba.
Well, just to let you know, the person that played as Ben, his name is Ebon Moss
Okay,
Backrash. If I'm saying his last name right, I'm sorry if I butchered it. So
Backrack.
thank you.
Backrash. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Backrack.
I agree. I kind of hope that for Sherry and M'Baku, for me, they kind of have like an underlying like brother sister relationship,
Mhm.
Mhm.
especially from the last movie, because like I said, Homegirl went through it.
Yeah.
Put like that, she went through it. But I think, and I don't know if you guys caught it in the trailer. I think the Atlanteans are on land. I'm like, where you
Yeah.
at?
Mhm.
Because y'all all dried. Because y'all have your little like mask and stuff.
Yep.
I'm like, where you at? But it didn't look like they were in like a desolate area. It looked like they were in like buildings. So maybe they did find something coming across. It was like, like you said, like an Aztec vibe or whatever. So I'm like,
Mhm.
where you at? Who you with?
Yeah.
What's going on? And then especially for like, Wakanda and the Fantastic Four to come together, it's like, how that happened.
Yeah.
And the last time we saw the Fantastic Four at least from Thunderbolts in like that post-credit scene, they're in space, flying somewhere back onto Earth. So we're like, which Earth is it? We don't know. Where they were heading towards, we don't know. So if we're not going to get anything from like in between that and Doomsday, where y'all going?
Yeah.
What you doing? Where you at? Where you at? So, but overall, I'm intrigued. I'm gonna kind of keep like, my blinders like, open to like see everything. But obviously because it's Black Panther, gotta do for the culture. I'm excited.
This one had me. And speaking of multiverses, Ebon Moss Backrack also played Micro in The Punisher.
Hey, yeah.
There's always an angle there, folks. There's always an angle. So again, I love that. I was excited about this. Seeing Shuri walk across and saying, "I have lost everything."
Yeah.
Echoing her mother.
Oh, that's
Have I not lost enough? What more must I like? As you know what I mean? Exactly.
Should have won an
Because
Oscar. Sorry.
Yeah.
exactly.
Should have won an Oscar.
Oscars or not, she's one of our best. Y'all can celebrate your mediocrity over there. Let's be real. This one hit because you got so much tension in those scenes, and notice that the Atlanteans are not with, like, as far as being in the scene.
Yeah.
They're in a separate scene, so even that creates a bit of tension. But we don't know what their relationship is between Wakanda and Atlantis at this point. We don't know. Yes, I need some type of 1 hour special. M'Baku and Ben Grimm. And notice Ben Grimm was cooking, which is also a nod to Ebon being on the bear.
Yeah.
I would love the fact of them just hanging out, vegetarian, obviously, vegan, cooking. I would love to see that. Bring Kirby in there as well. I'm all for it. Have like a little 1 hour special, something that's just fun and just light, just like how you would have like a 5-issue miniseries of 2 characters, just at an adventure.
I just had a quick thought. They should have Pedro come in as Reed and eating a sandwich and just sit there in silence.
A crunchy, dry toast. Yeah, just sitting there.
Like.
But can he reach in with his powers, like from across a room, and get around a corner, and then you just see him, crunching hard as hell, just turning around?
Sandwich.
Please.
That would be the best meme in enactment ever.
You're not wrong, though. You're definitely not wrong, though. I think this is going to be one that hits hard, because in this adventure, in this movie, who is left from Wakanda? Are any of the Dora Milaje there? Are the Midnight Angels there? Who is left to be with Shuri? Aside from M'Baku, who else is there? Yes, give me the tension. Give me the heavy ties from the comics. Give me something that shows through. Again, a bit of fan service, but necessary because it's actually from the source material, from the, as my cousin Carlo would say, the lore. Give me that. And I love to see that, seeing these three and very, very important parts of a puzzle come together. Sometimes the pieces fit together perfectly, sometimes they don't, but seeing that those 3 together will be very interesting, especially later on down the line. Because as we remember, there was also a comic book based in Wakanda called Doomsday. And it was one of the most heartbreaking ones possible, with everything that happened in there. Like I said, there's a lot, and also you're getting a War of Kings. Ooh, another series. I'm on fire right now. We're getting that.
That's a lot, yeah.
But you got it. You know what I mean? So even then, you have to do that. So that's going to be very exciting. So those are the 4 clues, trailers. Look at the things that you see in there. The wording that they use is also very important. But I want to ask my co-host here, out of everyone that we haven't seen lately, or even characters that we have not seen, who do you want to make a cameo or an appearance or show up in Doomsday? I'm gonna go with Robert.
So I don't know if I'm breaking the rules here, but I just I want the Young Avengers. I want the Young Avengers. We have had this group. I think different members of this group popping up in different TV shows and movies, and I think that because Doomsday and Secret Wars are going to be big enough, because we gonna need everybody, right? we all hands on deck, right? This is the end of this is possibly the end of all the worlds. I think that it would be a good idea it would be fun to bring them in. So here you have America Chavez, you have Wiccan, Patriot, as long as he's not fighting at amusement parks. Do the homework on the actor, y'all. Kate Bishop, Kid Loki, Ironheart, Riri Williams. We have Stature and Miss Marvel. So I think also, and it's funny because of the timing of us doing this podcast, is that I want to see the next generation of the MCU heroes and heroines and villains and all that. And I think we'll get that with the X-Men and with the introduction of the X-Men, because I think they're going to cast younger. But at this time, we're watching. I'm watching Starfleet Academy, and that's introducing the next generation of Star Trek. Captains, characters. So I think the same thing should happen within the MCU. And I know this is an idea that has been rumored to happen. We got some little Easter eggs of this, and like I said, various shows and movies. And then Kamala was putting the team together, and then we also had the appearance of the characters in What If. But I would love for this to be this movie to act as the appearance of this team or some variation of this team. But also because I love the comic book, I think it's past due, for us to see the next generation of, heroes and heroines. So.
Also, if we get Iron Lad in there, who is a younger version of Kang, that would be very interesting as well. I would enjoy that. I don't know what's happening with that whole thing. I'm not going to speculate on that because that's a whole big thing. But yeah, that would be cool. Jabba.
I am gonna go and say Wanda Maximoff. Because for various reasons, from her doing WandaVision, and especially going into the second Doctor Strange movie, having different multiverses, and also throwing it in there because it is true. I mean, if she wants to meet her parents, technically she could meet her daddy, which is Magneto. So I'm throwing out different daggers for everything, like I said, because I feel like at this point she's the catalyst for everything. And technically only one version of her allegedly died. We don't know about the other ones because Homegirl was dream hopping in between. So it's like, what you gonna do? And also speaking, throwing this back in there, technically she killed Professor Xavier. It's just like, come on. So how are you back?
Snapping chicken necks.
Right. Mind you, best cinematic jump scare. I'll put it like that. Or Marvel one, because that would scare the crap out of me. But it's like there's so many holes where they kind of leave off. And especially if you want trickle along with Agatha all along, bring in her son. So it's like there's so much that's leaving her out. I'm like, she needs to come back.
Okay. I definitely dig it. It would be a great way to close up some loopholes. That's kind of what kind of the one thing I am happy about ending the multiverse thing, because you leave too much out there. I
Yeah.
like when things are more contained and such like that. That's kind of why sometimes I don't like time travel, because it leaves things unturned. Unless it's Temporal by Stephanie Williams, then I'm all for it, because it's a phenomenal book and she did an exquisite job with it. Not that I'm just saying because it's from Mad Cave Studios, so go check it out. 3 issues are out already. Anyway, um, for me, this is a character that I've spoken about, someone who I've wanted to see, and I've been asking for a while, is Casper Cole, aka White Tiger. This is a deep cut. This will fit so well into Wakanda, everything that's happening there. I also think that you can get the crew together from this as well.
Man, Antonio,
And,
stop.
yeah. And I honestly think that this was a character. The last time I saw this character was at the end of World of Wakanda,
Yeah.
the series, and I was like, oh, finally, they're going to have him go to Wakanda and train and everything like that, and to become one of them. This could also be a way to bring in the War Dogs, find out what happened with all of them. That's always been on my mind. I'm not even going to lie. That's always been on my mind. Is where are these War Dogs? Casper Cole is basically a character who is a cop in New York City. His real name is not Casper. He gets named Casper because of his skin tone being so light, and his father was named Blackjack because he was black. I think he was actually African. I think, and his mother is Jewish, I want to say. And he has a pregnant girlfriend who I think is Asian. So he's trying to find a way to, yeah, there's a lot going on there. This is from Priest. Tries to find a way to get more extra money. So he decides, so when Black Panther is presumed dead, he finds one of his old costumes, dresses up as him, and begins to go out on the streets and taking out drug dealers, but then going back as himself, being the detective, bringing in the collars and getting more pay. After a certain point, he is found out by T'Challa, who is shown to not be dead, but he's given his own suit of vibranium, and I believe he has an anti-metal knife, which is also, I didn't realize, a form of vibranium, just not from Wakanda. That's wild to me. Everything. I absolutely love this character because of his difference and because of what he was trying to do. What I would do with this character is I would not go with someone light skinned. I would go with someone who has vitiligo.
Ooh.
I think that would be one of the most beautiful ways to bring him. There are so many actors out there with vitiligo. There's so many people in the world with vitiligo. And I think that would be so beautiful to have so there. And that could be, again, why they call him Casper. Casper was the cop's way of making fun of him. But he began to wear it like as his badge of honor and began to go that route. Even though he kind of hated it, but he went that way. But he went that route with it. And he was just one of my favorite characters. The crew was a very deep cut as well. Not known. Rhodes at one point stopped wearing the suit and he funded this like group of just kind of not even on the alphabet characters. I'll be honest with you. It is. But I always enjoyed it because I mean, let's be real. There were some characters that you had no idea, but you also did get Josiah X,
Yeah,
who was a part of the team. So you have a lot there that can happen. So maybe not. This would be a great way to get an actual series of World of Wakanda, which we should have had quite a while ago anyway. But whatever. So, folks, those are some of our ideas, some of what we think might be going on with Doomsday. But we've got a lot of time in between that. We might have another discussion about this coming forward because we still have like 10 months before this goes on.
Yeah.
So there's going to be more of these clues. There's going to be more of these statements. There's going to be more of everything. I mean, we already have Wonder Man going on right now. We don't know how that might fit into this world, but maybe it won't. Hopefully it'll be its own contained thing and it's not part of the multiverse, which we're trying to get rid of. But anyway, folks, look, what did you think? What are your ideas? Who would you like to see in the movie pop up? Everybody and their mama going to be in there, apparently. You know what I mean? So why not?
Blade.
I want that to be a whole different thing. I want that to just be the part of the dark, supernatural horror core of MCU.
Yeah,
that's what I want. We got a little face with a Stephen Strange. with that like horror of
The werewolf.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
One of the characters was supposed to be Blade, I believe, in that movie, the African Hunter.
Oh wow, that would
I
have
think he
been
was
good.
supposed to be, but then they couldn't. But that also made me think: have we had a vampire hunter from Wakanda? Imagine the mix of silver and vibranium.
Yeah.
Don't get me started, folks. But anyway, look, there's a lot going on. We're out of time. I hope y'all have a good evening. I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, hungriest man in the room.
This is your girl, Jabba Chin.
Rob the Rider.
And folks, you have a very good evening. Enjoy the rest of it. Please be safe. This Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Hungry Bleak will be there. And I hope you have a great time. I'm going to change it a bit, folks. I'm not going to say what I usually say. All I'm going to say is abolish ICE. It's done.
Amen.
Over. Let's get out the way. All right. Y'all have a very good evening. Enjoy the rest of it. Be safe, and we'll see you later. Bye. Peace.